This message is finding you today because I've got a feeling that you need a reminder that it's time to start advocating for yourself. It's time to start establishing those boundaries. It's time to start prioritizing what you need over what everybody else needs. It's time to start speaking up for yourself. We are, as I've already mentioned previously, in the final year of a 9-year cycle in terms of numerology. It's a 9-year. Next year, we're starting a new 9-year cycle, a new energetic opportunity for you to stand up and start telling the universe what you need and what you deserve and how you want it. Because the more clear we get on what our personal boundaries are, the more life seems to fall in line. And it's amazing. I think this is one of the biggest lessons that I've learned in my life, is that until you get clear on those little things, you'll just be swaying about in the sea of life. Once you start to get clear and start to not only become clear in your head, but start to articulate what your boundaries are, what your needs are, it's amazing how the universe starts to conspire to bring you what you need, bring you what you want, the opportunities to help you grow, the people that meet those levels that you have for yourself within that maybe you haven't been expressing. Because the truth is, in life, there will be many people that are very happy to take. They'll take from us until we're dry if we let them. So it's up to us to start advocating and saying, no, that's not okay with me. Actually, this is how it needs to be for it to work for me. And it's like a muscle that you've got to build and you've got to develop, and that you've got to develop because for me, for a very long time, I was the sort of person that was like, oh, I'll just go along with it. Didn't want to offend anyone, didn't want to upset anyone. And more often than not, I would find myself feeling drained or feeling like I'm being taken for granted, or like my heart is being taken a liberty of, as I give in an attempt to be liked and loved. Didn't want to upset anyone, wanted to make sure everyone was okay. And then you start looking back and thinking, well, where does that stem from? What is that need and desire to want to please? And you start thinking back to your earlier years. What was it, and where did you find yourself where maybe you didn't feel like you were enough as you were? Or maybe you felt like someone else's happiness depended on your ability to make them happy. So you tried extra hard, did your best to please. Because when you did, and when you managed to break through to that person that was maybe not giving you what you needed, you had that sense of achievement. So then that became a pattern for you then. You started to realise that in order to be liked or loved or seen, that you needed to perform in some way or another to please. And then over time, it just became a habit. And you ended up being milk dry in different circumstances, whether at work or relationships or friendships, because this inclination for you to want to give and to please meant that you were being milked. So this is an invitation for you to really look at the ways that you feel like you might be doing that, the ways that you might be overextending yourself and causing yourself discomfort in the process. Start having a little think about what it would be like to begin to establish some of those boundaries. Because this is deeper than just establishing boundaries. This sends out real deep messages to the universe about your sense of self, your sense of self-worth, the way that you love yourself. Because the truth is, and we hear about, self-love, people talk about self-love, but the truth is, if you don't really love yourself, then people can get away with a heck of a lot. So it's time for you to start digging deep, time to start thinking about all the ways that you could love yourself a little bit more, respect yourself a little bit more. Because if you're not respecting yourself, how can you expect other people to? If you can't see within yourself that actually you need to start laying down some firmer lines, then you'll be forever just being milked, energetically by those who are willing to take. And it doesn't mean that the takers are conscious, malicious, or bad mind. although some will be. But people will only give, ever take as much as you're prepared to give. So just have a little think about it. Just examine the ways that you overextend to your own detriment. And I know so many beautiful people in my life that, we seek to make others happy. It brings us joy to see others happy and to feel as though we're doing a good job and to feel as though we're valued and appreciated. But this is just a reminder that you are enough. Just as you are, where you are, you're enough. You don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to overextend to others to make yourself feel like you're worth something. You're worthy just as you are. So I might ask, if it feels good for you, just to spend a few moments with a journal, having a little think about your earlier years, maybe your first 8 years, and can you think back to a time where you felt like you had to earn someone's love, you weren't quite enough as you were, like you had to demonstrate your worth, and just have a little think about that situation, and then have a moment to close your eyes as you're thinking about it, and just feel into your body and start to think about where that sense of unworthiness sits. And when you can feel it, it might be in your heart, it might be in your gut or in your solar plexus. Just put your hand to where you feel that sense of unworthiness and take a deep breath in and exhale. And as you exhale, visualize, imagine that you are exhaling any sense of unworthiness. And as you breathe in through your nose, breathe into that space where that unworthiness lived and start to fill it with a sense of worthiness. Start to feel into your value. Start to remember who you really are. Start to think about what you deserve and all the ways that you are worthy, and fill yourself up with that sense of worthiness. And then have a little think about your life, how these patterns might be playing out at the moment, and where you might need to start setting some of those boundaries first. Is it in a workplace? Is it in a relationship? Is it with your children? Whatever it may be, or your friends, have a little think about the ways that you can start to just slowly adjust people's expectations. And people don't have to like it. They don't, people will be used to you being a certain way. So when you start to make those little changes to reflect your sense of worthiness, then some people will have to catch up. But that's okay. It doesn't have to be some big dramatic thing. It's just like, actually, no, this is who I am, and these are my terms of engagement. So you either meet me there or you don't. So you establish your boundary, you communicate your boundary, make sure that the other person is understanding the boundary, and then it's almost like a game of chess. Not to turn it into a game, but it's just this like, okay, this is my boundary, there it is, respect it or don't. And if they do, great, then you feel a little bit more like, this works, I can speak up for myself, I can advocate for my needs. And if they don't respect the boundary, then you're left with another choice. Do I re-establish the boundary? Do I communicate that the fact that they're not willing to respect my boundaries then has additional consequences? But it's then up for you to keep adjusting. It's almost like this table tennis, isn't it? So that's when it becomes a little bit easier to see where people are not prepared to meet you, where your boundaries are. And then we have to start making the difficult decisions to maybe whether we pull back or whether it's worthy of even, trying to articulate further why your boundaries matter. I mean, some people get it and some people respect it, and some people it's just like banging your head against a brick wall, isn't it? But this is where we have to have that self-responsibility then to say, well, yeah, I respect myself. And if you can't respect my boundaries, then respectfully, I'm going to have to redirect my energy and attention. Yeah, that's it really. It's just thinking of all the ways that we can better advocate for ourselves in the coming year, because it'll be here before we know it, It's already October. We're going to blink it'll be the new year and we'll be into this new cycle. So it's a really good time actually to just be thinking about all the ways, all the things, we're ready to let go of. Start thinking of all the behaviours we're ready to invite in. In fact, you can even take this one step further and again, just closing your eyes and allowing yourself to connect to your creative imagination and be like, where do I want to be in 9 years' time? And see this next 9-year cycle as an opportunity to move closer in that direction. Because if you can start to identify and create this vision of who it is that you want to be or where you want to be heading, you can start making those adjustments in your behaviour today to align with who it is that you want to become. Because this idea of our potential and our future self, it's not just some ethereal, airy-fairy idea. It's real. All we have to do is start making those adjustments to our behaviour to meet them where they are. Because we're not going to meet them if we don't start changing our ways. And it can be very easy to rest on our laurels and to stay stuck in old habits. But if you've got that sense within you that it's time to grow and it's time to evolve, there's no better time to start establishing your boundaries. So I think that's it for today. Just that little reminder that you may be needed to, in fact, this is the card I pulled earlier, and how appropriate. I don't know if it's picking up it. Don't know if it is, but stand your ground anyway. This is what we're trying to say. Stand your ground. Advocate for yourself, friend. Big love. Peace out. And wishing you a beautiful week ahead. And I'll catch you soon.